Hi, this is Jim Starkweather with the KitMaker Network, and we've got another Cracking the Box for you today. We have the GWH, or Great Wall Hobby P-61. This one is the U.S. Air Force Northrop P-61B, Black Widow, last shoot down 1945. And I have a guest reviewer with me, Ernie Gee with G Factor Models. Ernie, take it away.
All right. Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me again. Give me the opportunity to review such a nice model.
You're welcome.
So again, we've got another beautiful release from Great Wall Hobby. This basically is the second version of the A model that they produced a little bit over a year ago. This is the B model, which has, from what I understand, the B model's actually had a little bit longer radome. I think by like 8 inches. It wasn't too much longer, but it was elongated for, I guess, a different radar style. So anyway, looking at the box top, we've got another beautiful painting. It looks like there's a splashdown of actually a Ki-44 Tojo, which is interesting.
I'm guessing this is a link to some historical of it. Obviously, the last shoot down.
That's what it may be. Yeah, because it's 1945. So yeah, this is probably the last, I guess, combat engagement, air-to-air combat engagement. I did not even realize that. I never even thought about that question.
Well, this is why I'm here.
So anyway, let's open it up and see what we have. So yeah, it looks like we've got nicely packaged plastic morsels again in these crystal clear bags. And this tree here, this has the tires, which has a realistic bulge out to them. We've got some R2800 motors here. We've got the rudders with finely detailed fabric surfaces. Some, I believe those actually look like 30 calibers. Was it 30 or 50s? I can't remember what they used. Actually, no, there's both. There's 30s and 50s. And then there's the propeller. So the blades are actually pre-molded with the hub, so you don't have to worry about any type of correct pitch angles. Here's the crankcase for the engine. So anyway, you can see there's some interior sidewall detail. There's some oxygen hoses on there. Nice ribbing. There's a couple injection pin marks, but they're very minor. You could probably knock it down with maybe a coat of primer or something like that. And it looks like, I think those are more engine parts. Here's one of the booms. So we've got they've captured the flowing shape of the booms really well. They've got the bulge for the tires on the wheel, the main landing gear doors. Looks like here's some flaps that are looks like they're molded in halves, and you can see the interior bracing detail. Again, a couple injection pin marks, but nothing major. Something a little brush on primer will take care of that. So here we've got the upper and lower wing surfaces, and you can see the large flap and the cutout for the spoilers. Which, that's what was really unique about this aircraft, is that you actually use spoilers to the turn, and it could turn quite tightly with the spoilers. And we've got some strengthening bulkheads on the back of the wings. But yeah, you can see again, it's just got really good, surface detail. So yeah, we've got a couple different configurations here. We've got opened and closed. So you can see these are
One for each.
this is a sprue that's unique to the B model, assuming from the over the A model, because it's got a different control console. It's a panel. And then here's another large sprue. So what we've got here is pretty much wheel well bulkhead detail, all the interior stuff. The interior on this model is amazing. They've actually replicated the interior perfectly. They've got all the pilot seats, chairs accurately represented. Landing gears, really well done. Actually has all the bracing that needs to be there. The brake lines, but it's really nice. So yeah, you can see again, Great Wall's done a great job with packaging here. But
now, why did they opt to go with the clear piece versus the non-clear, obviously? Or is there some benefit? Is there
well, it actually shows off the the radar as well. But on the original ones, I believe that they were leaving them clear because they were actually I think they were like a blow molded type material that they were using. But I think on the second versions, they may have gone to a different composite material. It was just for radar cross sections.
Is it possible that one of the access panels was left like glass or something, where you maybe paint the majority of it and then leave that as a
well, on the B model, they were pretty much painted.
Okay.
I think on the A models, I've seen some where where they were semi-translucent. So again, we've got crystal clear canopy parts. Well, these things are really clear. They are amazingly good. So you can see the main cockpit framing. This is actually all molded in one piece, which is really nice. It can be opened, exposing all the detail inside the cockpit. That's the cool thing about the Black Widow. You can actually see right through the airplane from forward to aft. You can look through the back of it. Through this dome right here, you can actually look through to the front of the aircraft and vice versa from the cockpit. Right. So it leaves a lot. There's a ton of detail that can be seen through these transparencies. So we'll take a look here. I do not know what this is for, but it looks like it's just like some plastic rod. I have no idea what it's for. And then here's some good stuff here. Here's the photo etch with the ignition harnesses, seat belts. Looks like we've got these are the spoilers for the wing.
Larger one.
Yeah. So here's a decal sheet. So we've got
Down a little bit.
we've got a bunch of data. Actually, it's this upside down. So we've got all the the no-step walkway lines and all the little nomenclature pieces that are appropriate to the airplane. Wow, is that? Oh, actually, they even give you gauges for the cockpit. This entire decal sheet is actually little gauges for the console. That's a nice touch.
That is nice.
And then we've got some.
And those two are marked 4810, so they're specific for this kit release. This one maybe is the more generic.
Yeah, that's gonna be generic for
Right,
probably
for both.
yeah,
all
for
the really
both
prior
variants.
releases.
So yeah, we've got some decently printed nose art detail here. There's no distortion or registration issues. One's coming out as well. And then another great touch is window masks. This always makes life for the modeler a lot easier, especially for a greenhouse type canopy that the P-61 has. So these are adhesive backed and pre-cut, and all you have to do is peel them off and stick them on. And another signature thing that Great Wall seems to be doing with all other kits is including a nicely printed photo of the box top without all the
Marketing.
the marketing and warnings and all that kind of things. So yeah, this is totally suitable for framing.
I noticed the manual that had an insertion for some kind of correction.
Yeah, let's say correction of some kind.
On the safety belts, maybe, or. Well, here's the original. Let's see, F30.
Yeah, I don't know what the inaccuracy would have been.
Well, they're showing it with the lower plate. Maybe they. Oh, here it is. Right here. It's that area.
Oh, okay.
So something to do with.
What is the issue then?
That. Something minor.
Yeah, something really, really silly. I don't know what the difference is. Because I know these guys. I mean, they definitely ran.
Could have just been a
belts.
numbering issue. No,
Yeah.
It looks like the numbers are all the same. Letters are the same.
Either that, it's a different. Well, yeah, they're the same numbers. I don't know. Oh, you know what? If you look, this decal sheet or this here right here has the placement for those little individual decals for the console.
Right.
So if you look alone right here, there's 25 little tiny decals that go on the console alone. Yep, fun stuff.
Break out your magnifying glasses,
Yep.
folks.
Well, at least back in the day, I used to use a Waldron punch and die set. Still do actually, and I would actually make my own decal gauges and punch them in. So I was a purist that way. But a lot of times I'll just buy Edward photo etch sheet, and it's got the nice acetate negative printed decal gauges. That makes it nice too. But if you want to build out of the box, and they give you everything in here, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, here's the instructions here. Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean,
There's the guns that you were asking about. There's the 30 cals.
Yep. So yeah, it's really nice to give you a full radar assembly.
Array, yeah.
The entire array. And then there's even the housing for the top turret. Actually, give you
That
the
is
entire.
nice.
Yeah, I never realized on the P-61 it actually looked like that in there. I mean, the only
Was
P-61.
that an armored area for the person?
No, there was actually not. No, there's no one inside there because it was all
remotely
remote.
controlled.
It was all
Oh,
remotely
okay.
operated,
Right,
much
right.
like the B-29.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who controlled it?
It was the guy in the back. He had
In the back.
He had a gun director.
Gotcha. First, maybe joystick controlled.
Yeah, it was actually a very,
Star
very
Wars-esque.
very, yeah, Star Wars-esque. Very, well, technically, Star Wars actually got it from this, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, this was a black project, for its time, and very advanced aircraft. Think about if we had this airplane earlier in the war.
Did the P-38 and the P-61 share any? Obviously not stylistically, but I mean, did they?
Well,
they were
P-38,
twin
the
engine?
P-38, they had what they called the M version, which was a night fighter as well.
Right.
So obviously it was a lot more agile. But the P-61 had a lot more armor
Right.
because the
It was a heavy
P-38
fighter.
pretty much only had the 50s in the nose, and that was
Right.
about it for the most part. This has got remote operated turrets. Because
This would have been the stealth fighter of its day.
it was, yes, it was pretty much the SR-71 of its day.
Right.
So from this, we've got a lot of
Technology.
Kelly Johnson type projects that have come out of this. So you can see, everything's really well illustrated, straightforward, nothing questionable. It pretty much lays everything out the way it should be. And
I
you
like
see
the
how
instructions.
The
They're really.
spoilers, they are.
I like the
they're laid out
colorations. The
really
fact that
well.
they're full color is nice.
So you can see those photo etch spoilers that I was pointing out earlier. Apparently on the first release, what I read, the spoilers were done wrong, but they were done correctly this time. It was because I think in the stowed position, you'd only see the hinge point, but they corrected it in this version from what I understand. Because I don't have the other kit, so this is really the first time I'm looking at this model, so that's the reason why I don't know as much about it. Oh wow, there's actually an axis ladder. That's a nice touch as well.
Yeah, I saw that in a previous
Yeah,
iron.
that's
That is
really
nice.
cool. That is awesome.
If it pulls down, it would be even nicer.
Yep. So yeah, it looks like it's
Probably fixed.
sides are photo etched. Oh yeah, I don't think it works.
Right.
Come on, we don't make our models as toys.
I know.
So anyway, here's the masking layout for the framing. Everything is clearly laid out.
Imagine if every model had working landing gear.
It's possible.
I know you've thought of it.
It's possible. I'm thinking about developing that, but I just don't know what it models. It's just I don't know.
These are really nice
We've got,
diagrams.
the typical
or illustrations.
Yeah. So we've got two famous
even weathered.
P-61s, Lady in the Dark, and what is this?
This is the
This is
anonymous
Victory model.
Spock.
Yeah.
Spook. Sorry, Spook.
The one that I think about when I think of P-61s is Moonlight Serenade, and I believe that's what the old monogram kit came with as markings too. And that's the main one that always comes to mind. But I have to do a little bit more reading about the last shoot down. I never realized.
Well, it said in the instructions that they didn't actually fire a shot. I guess the Ki-44 tried to do evasive maneuvers and essentially splashed down.
from
get away essentially.
From air combat maneuvering.
Yeah, and it actually said that was the last day before the end of the war, but it said that the war ended the next day, and they actually had a similar incident the next day. So an unhappy probably end for two Japanese pilots, but who obviously had a sense of fear of this plane. So that tells you something right there.
Yep. Well, there was other aircraft. The Germans had their Heinkel 219, which was their twin-engine night fighter, and even the Japanese had theirs. They had the Ki-45 and all that stuff, and the Ki-46.
Well, it must have been very intimidating for pilots of single-engine planes to run against these very powerful, special ops kind of plane that really could probably climb better than them, or had various characteristics of the airframe.
Yeah, I think these things pretty much operate on their own. I don't think they flew with B-29 formations.
Right.
I don't believe they did.
Well, that's why running across one probably was rather, like in this scenario, was probably just a
if anything,
fluke.
they were probably put in, as like cleaners or the sweep the area before the bombers came. But a lot of these were operated in the South Pacific as well. For any Betty type bombers or Lilies or whatever that would come and do the occasional bomb raids over our runways that were in the South Pacific. But
well, even that paint scheme, running across that plane, I suppose you'd have to see it in the daytime to probably even realize it was painted black. But running across a black plane with
it's such a great name
details.
too. I mean, you can't get a perfect name. I mean, the Black Widow. I mean, look at it. It looks like a Black Widow. I mean, look, it's even got red paint on this that version. The only one I've seen a Black Widow in real life. I was at the Air Force Museum a couple of years ago, and they had one actually there. It was an impressive airplane to see in real life. I understand there's actually a restoration happening right now. They're trying to get one back up in the air. I can't remember who it is that's doing it, but yeah, there was one flying around years ago back in the 80s, and then it got grounded somehow. I don't know what happened, but anyway, really neat airplane. So for anyone that's into twin engine medium aircraft, stealthy type aircraft. This is definitely a model that should belong in your collection. So, before this, all we had was the monogram kit, and this pretty much it brings
That is a crying shame, actually.
the kit up to
Modern standards.
modern standards. So,
Well, thanks, Ernie. We appreciate your feedback and expertise on this kit. And if anybody has any comments or questions, either for about the kit itself or to Ernie specifically, please leave them below. And again, Ernie, thanks for
thanks for having me, Jim, and
No
thanks
problem.
to Great Wall again for creating such a great product.
And I want to give our thanks to Dragon USA. They provided this sample. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.